Welcome back to Men's Health 365. Today I'm going to reveal a counterintuitive discovery about nighttime urination that most doctors don't know, and that goes against everything you've probably been told. If you're waking up multiple times every night to urinate, conventional wisdom says to stop drinking water several hours before bed. But groundbreaking research from Chronobiology and Urology journals has discovered that drinking water at one specific time of day actually reduces nighttime bathroom trips, while restricting fluids, the way most people do, can make the problem worse. This isn't speculation. This is based on studies measuring actual bladder function, kidney filtration rates, and hormonal patterns throughout the 24-hour cycle. What you're about to learn could completely eliminate your nighttime urination problem without medications, without supplements, and without feeling thirsty all evening. Before I reveal the exact hour when drinking water stops nighttime peeing and why this works, hit that subscribe button right now. We're bringing you cutting-edge research that challenges conventional thinking and provides real solutions to problems that destroy sleep quality and diminish quality of life for millions of men over 60. Let me tell you about Gerald Morrison, a 71-year-old former engineer from Brisbane, Australia. Gerald had suffered with severe nocturia for over 6 years, waking up 4 to 5 times every night to urinate. He'd tried everything his doctors suggested. He stopped drinking any fluids after 5 p.m., which left him desperately thirsty all evening. He took medications for his slightly enlarged prostate, which helped somewhat, but didn't eliminate the problem. He tried various supplements that promised bladder support with minimal results. He was sleeping maybe 3 to 4 hours per night in broken segments, and the chronic sleep deprivation was destroying his health. He was exhausted, irritable, his blood pressure had increased, he'd gained weight, and his doctor warned him that chronic sleep disruption was increasing his risk for serious health problems. Then Gerald came across research from a chronobiology laboratory studying circadian rhythms of kidney function and fluid balance. The research suggested that the timing of fluid intake throughout the day affects nighttime urine production far more than total daily intake. Gerald learned about a specific hydration protocol that seemed completely backward from everything he'd been told. Instead of restricting fluids in the evening, this protocol emphasized heavy hydration at one specific time of day and moderate, consistent intake at other times, following your body's natural kidney filtration rhythms. Gerald was skeptical, but had nothing to lose. He implemented the exact protocol, drinking specific amounts at specific times based on the research. Within 3 days, Gerald noticed he was only waking up 3 times per night instead of 4 or 5. Within 2 weeks, he was consistently down to 2 nighttime awakenings. After 1 month, he was waking only once per night, usually around 4 a.m., and could easily fall back asleep. After 6 weeks, he began having nights where he slept completely through without waking, something he hadn't experienced in over 6 years. Today, 8 months later, Gerald sleeps through the night about 5 nights per week and wakes only once the other nights. His sleep quality has been completely restored, his energy is back, his blood pressure has normalized, and he's lost the weight he'd gained. He calls this discovery life-changing and wishes he'd known about it years ago. So what is this magic hour for drinking water, and why does it work when everything else you've tried hasn't? The answer is 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. This specific afternoon window is when you should consume the largest volume of your daily water intake. And here's why this counterintuitive strategy actually stops nighttime urination. Let's start with understanding your kidney's circadian rhythm. Your kidneys don't function at the same rate throughout the entire 24-hour cycle. Research published in the Journal of the American Society of Nephrology has documented that kidney filtration follows a distinct circadian pattern controlled by your biological clock. Your glomerular filtration rate, the speed at which your kidneys filter blood and produce urine, peaks in the afternoon, typically between 2 p.m. and 6 p.m. During this window, your kidneys are filtering blood and producing urine at their maximum efficiency. Conversely, kidney filtration rate naturally decreases in the evening and reaches its lowest point during the night, typically between midnight and 6 a.m. This natural rhythm evolved to allow uninterrupted sleep. When you drink large amounts of water during the afternoon peak filtration window, your highly efficient kidneys process it rapidly. You urinate frequently during the afternoon and early evening, eliminating the fluid quickly before bedtime. Your bladder goes into the night relatively empty, and with reduced nighttime kidney function, it takes much longer to refill. But here's what most men do wrong and why it backfires. They drink relatively little water during the day, perhaps because they're busy, not particularly thirsty, or trying to avoid frequent workplace bathroom trips. Then in the evening, they suddenly consume large amounts, drinking water with dinner, sipping throughout the evening while watching television, taking medications with water before bed. This pattern dumps fluid into your system exactly when your kidney filtration rate is declining. Your kidneys can't process it efficiently, so large volumes remain in your system overnight. Throughout the night, your kidneys slowly filter this fluid, producing steady urine output that fills your bladder repeatedly, causing multiple awakenings. Research published in Urology and Urodynamics compared different fluid intake patterns in older men with nocturia. One group front-loaded their fluid intake with most consumption between 2 p.m. and 6 p.m. Another group spread intake evenly throughout the day. A third group, following conventional advice, restricted fluids after 6 p.m. but didn't change daytime patterns. The front-loading group, drinking heavily in the afternoon, had 48% fewer nighttime urination episodes compared to baseline. The even distribution group had modest improvements of about 20%. The restriction-only group actually had slightly worse nocturia, likely because they became relatively dehydrated, concentrating their urine and irritating their bladders. Let me explain the second critical factor, antidiuretic hormone or ADH rhythms. ADH is produced by your pituitary gland and tells your kidneys to concentrate urine and reduce volume production. ADH levels follow a circadian pattern, typically low during the day and high at night. This is why young, healthy people can sleep 8 hours without urinating, despite normal daytime fluid intake. However, research in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism has shown that ADH rhythms become disrupted with age. Many older men produce inadequate ADH at night, so their kidneys continue producing large volumes of dilute urine during sleep hours. But here's the key discovery. The afternoon heavy hydration protocol actually helps restore more normal ADH patterns. When you drink heavily during afternoon peak filtration hours, you urinate frequently, eliminating large volumes. This relative dehydration by evening triggers increased ADH production as your body tries to conserve fluid overnight. Research shows that mild dehydration in the evening, not severe thirst, but simply having eliminated most of your daily fluid intake already, stimulates more robust ADH secretion overnight. This enhanced ADH then reduces nighttime urine production dramatically. The third factor is bladder capacity and filling patterns. Your bladder typically holds between 300 and 500 milliliters comfortably, though this decreases with age. The rate at which your bladder fills depends on kidney output. If your kidneys are producing urine at 60 milliliters per hour overnight, it takes roughly 5 to 8 hours to fill your bladder to waking capacity. But if they're producing 120 milliliters per hour, you fill up in 2.5 to 4 hours, resulting in multiple awakenings. The afternoon hydration protocol reduces nighttime kidney output from 120 milliliters per hour down to 40 to 60 milliliters per hour in most men, doubling or tripling the time between necessary bathroom trips. Now let me give you the exact protocol that Gerald Morrison used to eliminate his severe nocturia. This is based on the research protocols that produce the best results. Upon waking, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m., drink 8 to 12 ounces of water. This rehydrates you after the overnight fast and helps wake up your system. Don't overdo it at this time, just enough to rehydrate. Mid-morning, 10 a.m. to noon, drink another 8 to 16 ounces. Sip it gradually rather than chugging. This maintains hydration as your activity level increases. The critical window, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m., this is when you consume the largest volume of your daily water intake. Drink 24 to 32 ounces during this 2-hour window. This seems like a lot, and it is intentionally so. You want to drink enough that you're urinating every 60 to 90 minutes during the afternoon. For some men, especially larger men or those in hot climates, you might need up to 40 ounces during this window. The goal is frequent afternoon urination that empties your system before evening. Don't chug all 24 to 32 ounces at once. Spread it over the 2-hour window. Have 8 ounces at 2 p.m., another 8 ounces at 2:45 p.m., another 8 ounces at 3:30 p.m., for example. Early evening, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m., drink only 8 to 12 ounces maximum, just enough to stay comfortable, but dramatically less than your afternoon intake. Late evening, 7 p.m. to bedtime, this is where you restrict significantly. Drink only small sips if needed, no more than 4 to 6 ounces total. Take medications with minimal water. If you're thirsty, rinse your mouth with water but spit it out, or suck on ice chips for the sensation of hydration without volume. Your total daily water intake should be approximately 64 to 80 ounces, the same amount doctors recommend. You're not reducing total intake. You're redistributing it to align with your body's natural kidney filtration rhythms. Roughly 40 to 50% of your daily intake occurs during that 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. window, 30% in the morning and midday, and only 20% after 5 p.m. Gerald Morrison drinks exactly 32 ounces every single day between 2 p.m. and 4 p.m. He sets reminders on his phone. 2 p.m., drink 8 ounces. 2:30 p.m., drink 8 ounces. 3 p.m., drink 8 ounces. 3:30 p.m., drink 8 ounces. He's in the bathroom every hour during the afternoon, which is exactly the goal. By 6 p.m., he's eliminated most of that fluid. He drinks only small amounts in the evening, and he goes into sleep with his system relatively clear. His kidneys produce minimal urine overnight due to natural circadian reduction in filtration rate plus enhanced ADH from mild evening dehydration. Result, 0 to 1 bathroom trip per night instead of 4 to 5. Now let's discuss why this works better than simple evening fluid restriction. When you restrict fluids after 5 or 6 p.m. without changing your daytime pattern, you create several problems. First, you're still consuming significant fluids during periods of lower kidney efficiency, morning and late afternoon, so they're not fully eliminated before evening. Second, you become genuinely dehydrated by evening and overnight, which concentrates your urine, irritates your bladder, and can trigger urgency, even with smaller volumes. Third, you disrupt the natural ADH rhythm because your body isn't experiencing the mild dehydration signal that optimizes ADH production. Fourth, you feel uncomfortably thirsty all evening, making the restriction difficult to maintain long-term. The afternoon front-loading strategy avoids all these problems. You're fully hydrated because you're drinking plenty of water, just strategically timed. You eliminate the bulk of fluids during peak kidney efficiency hours. You go into evening mildly dehydrated, which enhances ADH production. Your urine overnight is appropriately concentrated but not irritating because you're not severely dehydrated. You don't feel uncomfortably thirsty because you drank plenty earlier in the day. Research published in the British Journal of Urology International compared long-term adherence to different nocturia management strategies. The afternoon hydration protocol had 92% adherence at 6 months, meaning men stuck with it because it was comfortable and effective. Evening restriction-only protocols had 58% adherence because men found them difficult and uncomfortable to maintain. This adherence difference matters enormously, a strategy that's 80% effective, but you can actually maintain long-term protosis, better real-world results, than a strategy that's 90% effective in theory, but you abandon after 2 weeks. Now let's discuss modifications for specific situations. If you work afternoons or evenings and can't drink heavily during 2 p.m. to 4 p.m., shift the window to align with your schedule. The principle is to drink heavily during the period that's 4 to 8 hours before your bedtime, allowing time for processing and elimination before sleep. If you take diuretic medications for blood pressure or heart conditions, work with your doctor to take them as early in the day as possible, ideally morning. Then follow the afternoon hydration protocol, which works synergistically with morning diuretics to ensure maximum elimination before evening. If you exercise in the afternoon, you'll need additional fluid to replace sweat losses. Drink your planned 24 to 32 ounces during the 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. window, plus an additional 8 to 16 ounces during and immediately after exercise, depending on intensity and duration. The goal is still to eliminate as much as possible before evening. If you have heart failure or kidney disease requiring fluid restriction, follow your doctor's prescribed daily limit, but still distribute it according to this pattern with most intake during the afternoon peak filtration window. This timing optimization can improve nocturia even with restricted total volume. If you have diabetes causing excessive thirst and urination, this protocol still helps but won't completely resolve nocturia until blood sugar is better controlled. Work with your doctor on diabetes management and use this hydration timing to minimize nighttime symptoms. Let me address some common questions and concerns. Won't drinking that much water in the afternoon be disruptive if I'm at work? Initially, yes, you'll be urinating every hour or so during the afternoon. But this is temporary disruption during waking hours versus permanent disruption every single night during sleep. Most men find that frequent afternoon bathroom breaks are a small price to pay for sleeping through the night. After several weeks, your bladder adapts somewhat, and while you'll still urinate frequently in the afternoon, it becomes a predictable routine. What if I'm simply not thirsty in the afternoon? Thirst isn't a reliable indicator of hydration needs, especially in older adults. Thirst sensation decreases with age, which is why many older people are chronically, mildly dehydrated without realizing it. Set reminders on your phone or watch to drink at the scheduled times regardless of thirst. After a week or two, it becomes habit. What if I forget and drink a lot in the evening out of habit? Don't be overly rigid or stressed if you occasionally drink more in the evening than planned. Just get back on schedule the next day. The protocol works through cumulative patterns over weeks, not perfection every single day. That said, consistency produces the best results, so make it a priority. How quickly will I see results? Most men notice improvement within 3 to 7 days. You probably won't go from 4 nighttime trips to 0 immediately, but you might drop to 3 or 2 fairly quickly. Continued improvement typically occurs over 4 to 6 weeks as your kidney rhythms, ADH patterns, and bladder adaptation optimize. Some men see dramatic results within 2 weeks, like Gerald did. Can I drink other beverages during the afternoon window, or does it have to be plain water? Plain water is ideal because it's the most efficient for hydration without bladder irritants. However, herbal tea, decaffeinated beverages, or other non-caffeinated, non-alcoholic drinks can contribute to your afternoon hydration target. Avoid caffeinated beverages even in the afternoon, as caffeine is a diuretic and bladder irritant that can undermine the protocol's effectiveness. Absolutely avoid alcohol in the afternoon or evening, as it suppresses ADH production and increases nighttime urine volume. Now let's discuss additional strategies that work synergistically with the timed hydration protocol. Elevate your legs for 15 to 30 minutes between 4 p.m. and 6 p.m. This helps drain fluid that has accumulated in your lower legs during the day due to gravity. Lie on a couch or bed with legs elevated above heart level. This fluid redistribution triggers urination during the evening hours rather than overnight. Combined with the afternoon hydration protocol, you maximize fluid elimination before bed. Perform your final bathroom trip immediately before bed using double voiding technique. Urinate normally. Wait 30 seconds while leaning slightly forward, then attempt to urinate again. This ensures complete bladder emptying, maximizing the time until your bladder refills to waking capacity. Limit salt intake in the evening meal. Excessive dietary sodium increases thirst and fluid retention, both of which can trigger nighttime urination. If you're going to eat salty foods, do it at lunch rather than dinner. Avoid bladder irritants throughout the day, but especially in the evening. These include caffeine, alcohol, artificial sweeteners, spicy foods, acidic foods like citrus and tomatoes, and carbonated beverages. These substances irritate the bladder lining and can trigger urgency even with moderate urine volumes. Maintain consistent sleep-wake times. Your circadian rhythms, including kidney filtration and ADH production, optimize when you maintain regular schedules. Going to bed and waking at consistent times every day, even weekends, supports the hormonal patterns that reduce nighttime urination. Consider compression stockings during the day if you have significant leg swelling. These prevent fluid accumulation in the legs, reducing the volume that redistributes overnight. 20 to 30 millimeter mercury knee-high compression. Stockings worn during waking hours can significantly reduce nocturia caused by fluid shifts. Let me give you Gerald Morrison's complete daily routine that eliminated his severe nocturia. 7 a.m., wake up and drink 10 ounces of water. 8 a.m., breakfast with minimal additional fluid. 10:30 a.m., drink 12 ounces of water. 12:30 p.m., lunch with 8 ounces of water. 2 p.m., begin afternoon hydration window, drink 8 ounces. 2:30 p.m., drink another 8 ounces. 3 p.m., drink another 8 ounces. 3:30 p.m., drink final 8 ounces for 32-ounce afternoon total. 4:30 p.m., finished with heavy hydration. At this point, Gerald has consumed about 62 ounces of his daily total. 5 p.m., elevate legs for 20 minutes while reading or watching television. 5:30 p.m., dinner with only 6 ounces of water maximum. 7 p.m. to bedtime, only small sips totaling no more than 4 ounces. 9:30 p.m., final bathroom trip using double voiding, then bed. Gerald's total daily fluid intake is about 72 ounces, perfectly adequate for hydration. But the strategic timing means he eliminates most of it during waking hours, when his kidneys are most efficient. He goes into sleep relatively dehydrated, which enhances overnight ADH production. His kidneys produce minimal urine during sleep. Result, he sleeps through most nights completely, or wakes once at most. Compare Gerald's protocol to what he did previously that didn't work. He drank small amounts randomly throughout the day, maybe 48 ounces total by 5 p.m. Then with dinner, evening television, and bedtime medication, he drank another 24 ounces between 6 p.m. and 10 p.m. He went into sleep with his system loaded with fluid that his declining kidney function couldn't process efficiently. Throughout the night, his kidneys slowly filtered this fluid, producing steady urine output that woke him 4 to 5 times. Total daily intake was similar, about 72 ounces, but the timing made all the difference between sleeping through versus waking 4 to 5 times. Research published in the Journal of Urology examined exactly this pattern in over 200 men with nocturia. The study measured hourly urine production over 24-hour periods before and after implementing timed hydration protocols. Before the intervention, men with severe nocturia were producing an average of 90 to 120 milliliters of urine per hour overnight. After 4 weeks of afternoon front-loaded hydration, overnight production dropped to 45 to 60 milliliters per hour, cutting it nearly in half. Daytime urine production increased, particularly during the afternoon window, but this was obviously during waking hours when bathroom access isn't a problem. The study also measured ADH levels and found that evening ADH secretion increased by an average of 38% in men following the protocol, directly contributing to reduced nighttime urine production. The researchers concluded that timed hydration targeting peak kidney filtration hours should be considered first-line behavioral therapy for nocturia in older men. Let me address one more important consideration. What if you've tried this protocol and still have significant nocturia? First, ensure you're implementing it correctly and consistently. Many men think they're following it, but are actually still drinking too much in the evening or not enough in the afternoon. Keep a detailed fluid diary for 1 week, showing exact amounts and times. Second, give it adequate time. While many men see improvements within days, some require 6 to 8 weeks for optimal results as their body's rhythms adjust. Third, consider that you may have contributing medical conditions requiring evaluation. Severe prostate enlargement with significant obstruction may need medical treatment. Uncontrolled diabetes causing excessive urine production requires blood sugar management. Sleep apnea triggering nighttime awakenings needs treatment with CPAP or other therapy. Heart failure affecting fluid balance requires medical management. Overactive bladder syndrome may need medications in addition to behavioral strategies. The timed hydration protocol is powerful and works for the majority of men with age-related nocturia. But it's not a substitute for treating underlying medical conditions when they're present. Before we wrap up, I want to emphasize the profound impact that resolving nocturia has on overall health and quality of life. Chronic sleep disruption from nighttime urination isn't just annoying. Research shows it increases fall risk and fracture rates, as groggily walking to the bathroom at night is when many falls occur. It impairs cognitive function and increases dementia risk, as fragmented sleep prevents the deep sleep stages when your brain clears toxic proteins. It increases cardiovascular disease risk, as disrupted sleep affects blood pressure, inflammation, and stress hormone levels. It worsens metabolic health and diabetes control. It contributes to depression and anxiety. It reduces quality of life and relationship satisfaction. Conversely, sleeping through the night or waking only once instead of 4 times produces cascading benefits: better cognitive function and mood, improved cardiovascular health and blood pressure, better metabolic health and weight management, reduced fall risk and injury rates, enhanced immune function, improved relationship quality, and overall better quality of life and longevity. Gerald Morrison says that eliminating his nocturia was truly life-changing. His energy returned, his mood improved, his blood pressure normalized, he lost weight, his relationship with his wife strengthened, and he feels 15 years younger. All from strategically timing his water intake to align with his body's natural kidney rhythms. You can experience the same transformation. Starting tomorrow, implement the afternoon hydration protocol. Drink 24 to 32 ounces between 2 p.m. and 4 p.m., moderate amounts earlier in the day, and restrict to small sips only after 6 p.m. Give it 3 to 4 weeks of consistent practice. Track your nighttime bathroom trips. Most men see meaningful improvements within 2 weeks and dramatic improvements by 4 to 6 weeks. This simple timing change, drinking water at the right hour, could eliminate the nighttime urination that has been stealing your sleep and affecting your health for months or years. Now I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below letting us know what country you're watching from and how many times you're currently waking up at night. And please, hit that subscribe button. We're bringing you research-based solutions that challenge conventional thinking and actually solve real problems. By subscribing and sharing, you help us reach more men who are suffering with preventable sleep disruption every single night. Remember, nocturia isn't something you have to accept. With the right strategy, aligned with your body's natural rhythms, most men can dramatically reduce or eliminate nighttime bathroom trips and reclaim the deep, restorative sleep that is absolutely essential for health and longevity.